Hey everyone, welcome to another rebuild. In this episode, I'm going to be rebuilding the Oculus Rift website. More specifically, I'm going to be rebuilding the homepage, the Rift page, and the experiences page. Now, as we go through the homepage, you can see that there's a hero row, probably a video modal. Scroll down. Doesn't seem too complicated. Seems like everything can be done inside of Webflow. Alright, these have some interactions. So when I hover over it, the overlay goes away and the image comes out by zooming in. Cool, so that's the home page. Let's take a look at the Rift page. This one's very clean, nice hero row. It's very tall. And the second row is tall as well. But it's very immersive. I love the imagery. Scroll down, have some interactions here. So this one fades up and in. There we go. This is probably a video as well. Yep. There we go. And yeah, so nothing too complicated. Interactions there, interactions there. Okay. Yep, just a lot of data. Now if I scroll back up, let's go to the experiences page. This one is going to be fun because I'm going to rebuild this using the Webflow dynamic collections. So I'm thinking in my head already, there's two collections. There's either Gear VR or Rift. And then inside of those, we have a bunch of different fields that I'll need to create, like the image, how much it costs, and which category, because this one's featured, this one's new frontiers, this one's new and noteworthy. So yeah, for this page I'm going to do the first 3 rows, and for the Rift page I'm going to also do the first 3 rows. And if you look at this hero right here, this could easily be done in Flexbox, so I'm going to be doing that as well. Oh, especially for this one too. Yeah. Alright, so let's get to it. Okay, so I've already created a new site. Okay, now I'm going to start a new site. Let's call this Oculus Demo. Create from a blank template. Right, and here, the first thing I always like to do is get my assets, my image assets, into the Assets Manager. So all I'm doing is dragging in from my Finder into Webflow, let that upload, and we're ready to rock. Okay, so the first thing I see is that I need a nav bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in a nav bar component. And let's see here. This nav bar doesn't seem like it's... As I look through the website, I noticed that the nav bar is not fixed. And so what I can do is add this nav bar inside of the hero row. So I'm going to wrap this in a section. So I'm going to put a section. And inside that section is going to be my nav bar. Alright, and in this section, we're going to give it a class name of hero. Give it a height of, say, 650. Nah, it's too tall. 550. Alright, that looks good. And my background is going to come from my assets. And it's going to be this guy. Set it to cover. Center it. No repeating. And we're good to go. Cool. Alright. And now, let's see here. This nav bar, I'm going to give a class name of nav bar. It has a background color of black, but it's kind of opaque, so something like this. So it's a little off black. There you go. Cool. Something like that. And now the logo. So the logo looks like it's some sort of either black or white. So let's make that... Let's see here. Let's go ahead and make that a background image of this. So I'm going to call this logo. Give it a width and height of, say, let's start out with 250. We're just guessing right now. Ooh, that's too big. So we're just going to guess and then put a background image on it. Cover, center, so top. So now I can just go ahead and crop that by using the height. And there we go, something like that. Maybe the background isn't cover, it's just regular, but no repeat. Okay, that makes more sense. So the size is 52 by 64. So I'm just going to half that by 52 by 32. 52, 32, and there we go. We got my logo. Oh, that one doesn't work. Let's see here. So this logo right here, we should probably add some margin. So I'm holding Shift and Option. That one looks good. Cool. All right, next, these guys right here, they seem to be centered. So what I can do is go my nav menu, give it a class name of nav menu, and I don't want it floating, so no float. Okay. But I want it centered. Nice. Alright, this is looking good so far. Let's go ahead and give it a class. For these nav links, I'm going to give it each a class of nav link. Make sure that it's white, all caps. Now we're not going to use the same exact fonts as Oculus Rift's website because they have their own proprietary font that I cannot download. So we're just going to go with Arial. So we got home, and because we've already set the styles, I can just put the same style or selector name on each one and it'll pick up those styles. Let's make that a little bit smaller, probably 13, and then line height 19. That looks about right. All right, so this guy right here, oh okay, this one right here, logo is floating. I don't want it to float. Wow. There we go. No float. This guy right here. Ah. There we go. I think I can fix this with Flexbox. So here I'm using Flexbox, and the reason why is because I want to set it as a column and push the nav at the top, and then push this call to action buttons on the bottom. Okay, rather than having to do position absolute and position relative, it's easier with Flexbox. Okay, so now I'm going to use Flexbox again for this. I'm going to call it Hero CTA row, and I'm going to give it a Flexbox as well, so I can center it. And there we go. And probably vertically center it as well. Awesome. And so this is going to have two things. We're going to have a watch video link block and a learn more link block. Alright, so watch the video. Let's go ahead and add some text inside of it. And watch the video. Okay, and also in this one, it's learn more. Alright, so both of these probably need some styling. So I'm going to call it Hero CTA. And let's go ahead and make this white, no underline. Make this a little bit big, probably 20, 26. Alright, actually, let's change the whole base font to something like Open Sans so we can have some more font weight. So I'm going to go back to the body tag. I'm going to select the body tag right here in the selector, and now I can change all of my default fonts. We're going to go to Open Sans, and there we go. Cool. And now for this right here, Hero CTA, I'm going to make it thin. There we go. And let's go ahead and add some padding. Yep, something like this. Okay. And then let's do the same thing for this guy. Just give him Hero CTA. Awesome. And there we go. And now, this right here, it's too far to the bottom, so let's go ahead and push the margin up. There we go. That should do it right there. Sweet. And now this one is supposed to show a modal, a light box with a video in it. So I'm going to have to change this around a bit. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to drag in a, here we go, a light box link. Put it right there for now. Okay, and I'm going to go in my navigator, and my lightbox link already has an image thumbnail, but I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the image. Oh, sorry. First I'm going to drag in the link block from the watch the video, then delete the image, and give this lightbox link a class name of Hero CTA. And then that other CTA I made, delete it. So now this one's going to open up a video. But now we need to tell it what video to show. So I'm going to go to my settings. Now we have this lightbox settings here. I'm just going to copy the YouTube URL. Okay. So I'm going to copy the YouTube URL and click on this video icon and click save. And there we go. So if I preview this right now, oh, it's hiding in behind because that type is in there. So let's fix that. How can we fix that? So maybe instead of cover, something like this. And so it's the real version. So let me just check, double check. Huh. Maybe it is cover. So instead of pixels, I'm just going to say what the, let's try 1VH. Oh, or 1VW. There we go. So this is viewport width. So maybe this will do it. Interesting. Did I do cover? I am doing cover. How do I fix this? Let's try 0. I guess it's my height, my screen height. Let's fix this. Let's go 85 VH. See what happens. Interesting. Gotta play around with it for a little bit. See what works. And it gets too close when I preview it. Go back to pixels. Yeah, it's not really working for me. Okay, let's try align bottom. And set the pixels back to 650. See how that works. I think that'll work better. Huh. Let's try back to pixels. How we feeling? Alright, I'm feeling confident with that one. Alright, let's continue. So now when I preview it and I click watch the video, I get the video working. Cool. Sweet. And we're moving on to the next row. So there's some space here, so let's go ahead and give this hero row some space, probably like 50 pixels at the bottom. And then after that, we can go ahead and drag in a section into the body right there. So if I collapse this, we have our hero row and our new section right here. We're going to call this, let's see, HP for homepage, row 2. Okay. And in this row, we have a background image again with the birds. Set it to cover, center it, no repeat. And this one probably has a set height as well. So let's go ahead and do 650 again. 650 is the number I like. It seems like that's the number. Actually, as I look at it, is it 650? Oh, yeah, it is. Oh, I guessed right. So I'm looking at the actual website on another screen. Alright, so here I want to center, vertically center and horizontally center the elements. So what I'm going to do is set flexbox and center. And I know the direction of my elements are going to go in a column rather than a row. So I'm going to set it as that. And there we go. So now if I add in, say, a piece of text, it's already in the center. So I can just say featured content. And I can go ahead and style this. Say, I'm just going to call it subtitle. Okay. Give that white. It's thin, it's all caps, and let's bring it up a bit to 18, 24, looking good. Yeah, and moving on. So now I can go ahead and add another piece of text, and then there we go. Actually, let's make this a heading. This is probably like a H3. Okay. Look inside Oculus. Okay, so I'm going to give it a class name of H3. It's going to be normal, or it'll be semi-bold, white, and we got to make it big. Oh, semi-bold seems too bold. We're going to use normal. Alright, there we go. Now I want to override the default browser styles for the margins. So I'm going to remove those by zeroing it out at the top and bottom. And now let's go ahead and put a play button. Okay, I noticed that their play button is an icon. So let me go ahead and get that icon real quick. Okay, to put in an icon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Font Awesome. And so you can actually add Font Awesome into your Webflow site. And here's how to do it. I'm going to go to my settings, and then I have fonts. And here I can upload custom fonts. So I'm going to look for Font Awesome. because I've already downloaded it. Go to the fonts, select them all, open, and wait for them to upload. Now there's always one that doesn't have the name, so I'm going to fix that. And now I can just click upload font on all of them. And now I have icons. So I'm going to go back to my designer. And wait for that to load. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and I'm going to add another text block here for this one so I can add a play button. Let's see here. Add a text block. Oh, let's see here. Let's go ahead and first I'm going to go to the Font Awesome cheat sheet. I'm going to search for the play. Alright, so I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to copy the actual icon and I'm going to paste it in here. Now it's going to come out like a broken character, but what I can do is I can highlight it, click this paintbrush tool, which means wrap with a span tag, okay, and then I can give it a class name of icon. And then right here under typography, we have a new font for Font Awesome. And there we go. Cool. I can play around with those a bit. Ooh, looks very, very thick. Let's just maybe do a filled in one instead. Yeah, that one looks better. Way better. So let's remove that. Cool. So I added a play button. Now let's go down here to second row and do the same thing. I'm going to add a text block. I'm going to paste in the icon. We're going to give a class name of icon. And there we go. But let's say big white. So I know it's going to be a big white icon. So say white. So we're giving it a combo class, okay? And then make this bigger. We're going to say just 100. And this guy right here, this H3, probably needs some space on the bottom. So let's go right here, and there we go. But again, we have to put a light box, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna drag in a light box right there, and now drag in this icon right here, remove the image. We're gonna call this light box. Yeah, we're just gonna call it lightbox link. So that way there's no underlines. Okay, cool. And now because this is part of the lightbox, I can go to the settings panel. I'm going to get the URL for the YouTube video. And yeah, rinse and repeat. Save it. And we have our first two rows done. This guy and this guy. Cool. Alright. Moving on. Third row. Let your mind explore. Okay, so we're just going to collapse this. Go to the make a new third row. Let's just call it section. And give that section, say 50. Nah, let's go 75. Let's go crazy. 75 for the padding on top and bottom. We'll go ahead and put a 960 width container inside. And inside of here, let's go ahead and let's see what I want to do. Let's go ahead and put a heading inside of this, and this one will be H2. Okay, this one is let your mind explore. Cool. And you know what? Let's go back to the container here, and we're going to call it text container. Actually, rename it to center text container. Just center text. There we go. Make it easier. Okay, cool. Because that's the only thing I'm doing. Okay. Give this class name of H2 because I want to remove the top and bottom margins. Actually, the bottom should be like 20. Set that to something thin, but not too thin. 36, 42. That one looks good. Now we're going to add a paragraph text and paste in some text right there. Huh. Maybe this shouldn't be a container because our preset containers, you can't play around with the widths or anything because we've already done that for you. So I'm just going to drag in a regular div block, give it a same class name of centered text, and make the max width like 550 and center that. Yeah, that would be good. So now I can move those in there and remove center text, and there we go. Cool. Now you notice that this text right here is more gray, so I'm going to call it gray P for a gray paragraph. Let's go ahead and change it around. Cool. I can save this as a swatch now and move on. Sweet. So that row is done. Very simple. Okay, going to create a new section. And this one's going to be called Oculus Experiences. So let's just call this HP for homepage row 4. Alright, and this is like, what, 650 again? Flexbox and center everything. Background image. Right there. Cover centered, no repeat. Sweet. And now let's go ahead and put what are we gonna put? Probably an H2 or H3. Probably H2 because this is another section. So Oculus Experiences, and give it an H2, and we're gonna give it a combo class of white. There we go. Nice, looking good. Give it a regular text block. Endless worlds await. And we're going to call this white text. White. Thin. Make it a little bit bigger, probably 18. 24. Nice. Okay, notice that the text is like hard to read, so I'm back on my HP row 4 here, and I'm gonna put an overlay. Let's add a, let's see, would a regular overlay work? Yeah, that'll work. So probably darken it a bit so the text can come out like that. Cool. So we have multiple backgrounds going on right there. Cool. And then for this one, let's go ahead and put a button. And this is just like the login button at the top. So maybe I should just call this login button. But I think the login button should be like that. Nah, I shouldn't use the login button style. Yeah, let's go ahead and remove that. We're just going to call this CTA, button CTA. Alright, and this one is explore now. Okay, so the background is transparent, but it has a stroke of 2 with the color of white. Border radius is probably like 25. Set the padding on the sides to be something large, say 30. Alright, a little bit bold. Move that away a bit. And yeah, let's make this a little bit bigger, like 18. Nope. Say 14 by 22. 20 is fine. And there we go. That row is done. Easy peasy. Alright, the next row we have 2 columns. So let's go ahead and do that. HP row 5. And yeah, so this one is going to be Flexbox 2 because I love using Flexbox instead of columns or floats. Much easier to control, so I'm going to set that to Flex. And yeah, that's it. So let's see here. What do we got? So you can either have a Gear VR or a Rift. All right. So let's put those two guys in. So we're gonna have two columns, right there and right there. Okay. And so we're gonna call this what do I want to call it? Headsets. HP headset call for column. Okay. And we're gonna set it to expand. Give the same class name here. So when I'm expanding it, it's already pushing against each other. So if I want to add more columns, I can just by copying and pasting. So now it's 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. So yeah, that's the cool thing about Flexbox. All right, moving on. Let's look at our assets. What do we got? All right, we have two guys here. Seems like a lot of space at the top before it gets to the image. So let's just drag the images and see what happens. All right, what do we got here? Oh, okay. So if I just preview it. Okay, I noticed that there's a background image with the Gear VR. I mean, a background color that's slightly different than Gear VR. So we might want to copy that. And here's the cool thing. I can go here and call this Gear VR. And I can copy a color. So I'm going to set the background color with a eyedropper. And then I just get this. Save it as a swatch. And there we go. And then do the same thing for this. I'm going to do Rift. Go, eyedropper, get that, and we're just going to call this Rift BG. There we go. Sweet, and we're moving on. Now both of them have some sort of padding at the top. So what I'm going to do is click this guy right here, and I can move back to the parent selector, and I can affect both. Okay, so they probably have a lot of space at the top. We're going to call it 200. Yeah, about 200 right there, and that's good. And now, let's see here. They're probably going to have 100 at the bottom. And this guy right here, we're going to call it headset image. And the margin at the bottom, let's give it, say, 75. Give the same class name for that one. And actually back on the parent of this, I want to make sure that everything is centered. So we're going to do text line center, because now when I add a text, I'm going to give it a text right there. It's already centered. So this one is Gear VR. And this one will be Rift. And now I want both of them to have the same text style. So I'm just going to go back to the HP headset column. And let's go ahead and make that big. Let's see here. Yeah, that's good right there. 50. Make it thin. Nah, normal was good. Cool. And then after that, let's go ahead and add in a button. Ooh, that's big. Learn more. And this button should be button CTA. I'm going to call it black. So now I can do, there you go. You have to move it around a bit for it to work. Nice. So now I can just copy that and paste it. Sweet, and there we go. We have those two columns done. Simple as that. Okay, the next one is a 3-column row. So let's rinse and repeat, drag that in. HP row 6. Alright, so this one is going to be fun because it's Flexbox again. So Flexbox, all one row. And let's go ahead and put 3 link blocks. Okay, so we're going to call this HP feature block. Okay, and it's gonna size it up like that. Paste, paste. Now we have 3. All I did was just a copy paste. Right, now this one is gonna be for Eve. So I'm gonna give it a combo class of Eve. And give it a background image of Eve. There we go. Alright. This one, I'm gonna give it a combo class of Lucky's tail. Lucky's tail. Alright. Oh, I set the background on that one, so let me remove it. Alright, so back on Lucky's tail, I can set a background image of Lucky. Cover, center, no repeat. And then lastly, this was, we just call it story. Okay. Use that guy, cover, da-da-da-da-da-da. Cool. And now I need them all a better height, so let's go back to the parent selector, and let's just play around with the padding. Set 50. Yeah, that should be good, but also let's set a height, say 300. Yep, that's looking good right there. No, it's 250. Yep, okay, I'm liking that one. So we set to 250. Let's go ahead and remove the top and bottom because I won't need them, because each feature block will be Flexbox as well. Unless, no. This will be Flexbox as well, because inside of it, I want a column that's centering, that's vertically centered and horizontally centered. Alright, so now I can start adding more content like the text inside. So this one's going to say featured content. Okay, and let's see here. Great text. Actually, yeah, so let's override it and put great text like that. Sweet. And uppercase. There you go. Let me put that for all 3. Also, this feature block, no underline, and yeah, cool. So actually, feature block should have a background of something dark like 3s, because let's see here, make sure I'm doing this right. Oh no, sorry, we're gonna have an overlay on top of it. So feature block needs to be, and how you do an overlay, and I'll show you, is this is when you use a position relative and absolute. So I'll get to that. Hold on. Okay, let me finish putting the content in. Alright, this one's going to say Eve Valkyrie. And this is going to be HP feature text. Let's go ahead and make that semi-bold, white, make it big. 26 by 32. Oh, it can be normal. Sweet. So now we can't see the text. Let me put that here and here. So we can't see the text. So we need to put an overlay. How we're going to do that is, I've already made feature block position relative, so I can drag in another div block inside, and this is going to be HP feature overlay. I'm going to set this as position absolute and zero out all the sides. So now I'm on top. Okay, so when I put a background, it's gonna be, say, like that, like that, say 50%. Cool. Okay, I see. So now this overlay needs to go under these guys. So let me throw it down there. Because this is, let's see here. If I push this down to Z, nope, that's not gonna work. I need to throw in another div to hold these two guys so they can stay on top of the feature overlay. So we're gonna call this feature HP feature text wrapper. Make sure that it's position relative and throw it up. So z-index is just like layering in Photoshop. Okay, so whenever you have something position relative, position absolute or fixed, it'll layer on top of anything else, no matter where it is in your navigator. So you kind of have to force that if you have something that you want to push on top but not set as position absolute. So I used position relative and pushed it up by 1, whereas the absolute right here doesn't have any. It's z-index 0. Okay, so that's how we do the overlay. And now the other thing they do is when you hover over the overlay goes away, right? So how I can do that is simply set an opacity. So I'm going to do a time transition opacity of 200 milliseconds. And so when I hover over this, the opacity of this goes to 0. And that's it. So let's check it out. There we go. So the next missing piece of this interaction is the zooming in of the image. So how can we do that? Okay. I see what we need to do. I cannot have a background image for this, but I can for this guy. Let's see here. Trying to think about it. Okay, so I'm going to need to remove the background images because they're going to scale. There's no way to scale a background image, so I have to make it an actual inline image, but it's position absolute. So let me go through that so I can explain. So let me remove this combo class. Okay, cool. And I want to set the overflow to hidden. That way I can scale things inside of this box, but it'll be cropped out once it goes beyond the actual block. So let's go ahead and let's drag in this guy right here. Okay, we're gonna drag that here, and let's go ahead and do a HP feature image position absolute. And okay, let's go ahead and how am I gonna do this? Okay, let's center it completely. So we're gonna do a trick where I center it 50% down, 50% to the left, go to the transition or transforms and do the opposite way, negative 50%, negative 50%, and add another transform of scaling. I'm going to make it big enough that I cover it. 125 should do the trick. And notice how it's going beyond, but that overflow hidden breaks it or masks it out. So this overlay right here, it needs to be a z-index of 1. This guy right here, feature text wrapper, needs to be a z-index of 2. So again, it's just layers. Alright, so we're almost there. Now we got to add an interaction where I go to the HP feature block. So every time I hover over this, I want the HP feature image to scale. So I'm going to go to Objects, Interactions. We're going to call this HP feature block. And for the trigger, it's going to be a hover. And I want to affect a different element, the HP feature image, and only limit it to nested elements. I don't want it to happen on all 3 of these, just the one that it's hovered over. So when I hover over it, I want to set the transforms back to what it was, but also scale it up. Let me lock that. Scale it up to something like 1.5. Okay. Right. And I want to make that timing faster. And then I'm done. And then hover out, just go ahead and put it all back. 50% left, 50% up. And set the scale back to 125. To its original. So now if I preview, and there we go. That should work. So let's do a preview. And there we go. Cool. And now let's do the same thing for these guys. Let's fix it up a bit. Let's remove this combo class. Okay. And let's go ahead and add the interaction, as well as add the image. There, right there. HP feature image. Also need to do a copy this guy, the text wrapper, and paste them. Drag it up here. Delete these two guys. Copy and paste the feature overlay. Cool. And let's fix this up. Oops. There we go. It says included with all Rift purchases. Oh. HP text wrappers to the left, make it center. There we go. And then this one right here is Lucky's tail. There we go. Now if I just preview both of these, there we go. I think the overlay needs to be darker. There we go. Now I can read the text much better. Alright, so lastly, this guy. Remove that, set the interaction, and drag in the image. Give them a class name of HP feature image. And then copy these guys. Paste, paste, delete, delete. Put it in the right order. And now fix the text. Featured story. A closer look at Oculus, medium, and the creative power of touch. Cool. Done and done. Let's go look at what it looks like. Nice. All right, lastly, let's go ahead and make the footer. Let me collapse these real quick. All right. Put this new section. We call it footer. Right, and it seems like there's some padding at the top and bottom, so let's go with 25. There we go, and let's see, what color is this? Alright, copy the color. So this background is going to be this guy right here. Save it. Let's go ahead and put in a div block. Footer container. And give it a max of, say, maybe 1200. Or, yeah, we'll do 1200. Center that. And Flexbox, love it. Make a column, call it footer column. And we need 4 of them, so 1, 2, 3, 4. All of them expand Got our 4 columns. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and put some padding around them all. And let's go ahead and use H5. Yeah. Footer title. And we're going to make it white. It's already bold as it is. All caps. A little bit taller, say 16. Nah, 14 was good. 14. This one says product. And let's see here. Remove that top margin. This one's probably, let's say 15 padding and 15 margin. So that way we can put a bottom border of gray. Let's see how that looks. Nope, it's too bright. Let's make it a bit darker. Right there. That one looks good. Cool. And now we can start adding text links like that. Say experiences, right? And we're gonna call it a footer link. Actually, let's do gray. Gray text. Nice. None, and we can just call footer link. So that way it's not all caps. And yeah, actually let's back it up. Let's not give it a class name. Let's remove that, Okay, say footer link, so it can be a universal class because I want the display block on it. Okay, none of that. Cool, and let's add some padding to top and bottom. 15's too much. We'll do 10. Sweet, and just copy paste. Gear VR, Rift, Touch, Oculus Ready PCs, and Medium. Cool. So I'm going to take out these columns right here. That way I can just copy and paste this 3 times, and then I just put my text in. Alright, so that part of the footer is done. Now we need like the Facebook footer. So let's go ahead and add another section. Where can we do this? Okay. Let's add a new section, and we're gonna call it we'll just call it Facebook. Let's call it Facebook. Let me pick the color real quick for the background. Right there. Add it to my swatch. There we go. Looks the same. Interesting. Alright, let's go ahead and add some padding. Say 20. And in there, let's go ahead and add another div block, and we're going to call it footer container as well. Oops. Footer container. Nice. And we're going to call it FB footer because I want to push things to the left and right on the flex box. Do a link block and drag in Facebook's logo there. There we go. Actually, let's add some padding. Fix this. Keep it like that. These aren't lining up. Let's go ahead and fix that. Remove that. Remove that. Put this footer container right here. Yeah, that'll work. Set it to 15. Now it's working. Cool. So we have a Facebook link, and now let's go ahead and add another div, and it pushes to the right. Make sure that it's vertically aligned. Alright, so this one's going to have a text block. Copyright. There we go. And then we're going to have an inline text link. We're just going to call it FB footer link. Make that inline. Interesting that this one isn't inline. I think it's because of Flexbox. So this one right here, we're going to call it FB footer wrapper. There you go. And just make everything align that way. Interesting. Do this and push it to the right. There we go. Flexbox saved the day. There we go. Alright, moving on. Make sure. There we go. I want to make sure everything's centered. Oh, it's because this has a underline. That's why it looks visually off. Alright, so this is going to be gray. No underline. This one is privacy. And let's see here. Move that away a bit. Copy paste. And this, all of them should be gray. There we go. Privacy, legal. Ooh, that's too far. There you go. And now I can do another text link, and this one is going to be icon because I want to pull in, obviously, Facebook's logo. Right there. Okay, and FB footer link. Let's see. Awesome. Already done for me. Paste 2, 3, 4. So now we got Instagram. Copy that. We got Twitter. And then we got YouTube. And lastly, oops. Copy YouTube again. And lastly, Twitch. Awesome. A little bit more space at the top and bottom, I think. Yep, right there. And that's the home page for desktop. Now, next step, making it responsive. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set our first media query or breakpoint, which is a tablet. So I'm going to click on that mode and get started. So I'm going to look through the page, and there we go. Everything looks fine. Everything looks fine. Nothing to change really here. 2 columns still, they work here. It's good so far. All right, so we have our first issue right here. So let's go ahead and let's fix the HP feature image. Scale them up a bit. Let's go ahead and there's our scale. go ahead and throw it up bigger. This might be an issue when it comes to interactions. So let's see here. What can we do? Okay, so I might have to reconfigure this in a way where it is a background image, but a background image of a div, and it's not an inline image. So let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm going to remove my fix there, and so let's just change this from an inline image to actual div. So I'm going to go and bring a div block here, and I'm going to delete this and do HP image, and I'm going to name this Eve, give it a combo class of Eve, and put the background of Eve there, give it a cover, and this doesn't seem like, it's because I'm doing this thing right here. So what I'm gonna have to do is go back to the parent, set it as all like this, actually 0 pixels, 0 pixel, 0 pixel. Let's fix this. There we go. And then I don't want that to transform, and awesome. Cool, we got that working. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for the other two. So remove that guy. Let me just copy this and paste it. Paste it here, delete that. Alright, for the second one, we're going to rename it Lucky. And let's go ahead and set the background image. That guy. Cool. And for this one, we're going to remove this and call it a story. Okay, there you are. Cool, and let's see if our interaction still works. Okay, I have that interaction still doing this thing. So let's go to HP feature block. There we go. And so it's because I have this guy right here. So let's remove that and see what the scale looks like. Let's remove that. Done. Let's see here. Okay, that works. Now let's go to tablet. Oh, there we go. We fixed it. Okay, so next thing to fix is this text is huge. Wish there was less copy, but you know, it's a challenge. Let's get to it. So when I make edits on this style, notice how the icon right here shows a tablet. That's because I'm editing only from the tablet down. So I'm editing the media query for the tablet and smaller. Just going to fix this. That looks good right there. Cool. And so this still feels okay. All right. That breakpoint is done. All right, cool. Oh, here we go. The nav bar. Okay, so this nav bar. So when we go to the nav bar component that Webflow gives you, it already gives you a menu button. Okay, so you can't really see it, but it's there. If I click on it, I have my nav items inside of my nav menu already ready for me. So this component is very handy for quick and easy nav bars that are responsive. Okay, so I'm going to need to give this a class of menu button so I can change the icon inside to be a color of white. There we go. Cool. And this one, let's see here. We're doing the flex box, but let's turn off flex box. Let's see what happens. There we go. That's exactly what I want. And this login button right here. This login button, let's not show it for all devices. Let's just show it just for the desktop. And so I can turn that off. And there we go. I think this media query or breakpoint is complete. Yeah. Nope, not yet. This does not look like it's on brand. So how do I fix that? So I can go to settings panel and click open menu. And now I get a pseudo class of open, or I get an extra class of open. So that means whenever this menu button is open, I can style it a different way. So let's see, what does Oculus look like? Okay, I open it. Oh, it slides in from the left. Okay, so what I can do is I can change my menu type to go over from the left or the right. I'm sorry, it opens up from the right, so I can just do over right and go like that. And yeah, that's it. Cool. And anything else I need to do? Nope, that's about it. So if I go like this, there we go, it's already working. So let's go ahead and open that. And yeah, so we don't need to style the menu button because it's going to be hidden. So let's go ahead and style the nav menu. The nav menu is going to have a little bit more padding right there on the right. Oops, only the left side. Okay, let's do something like this. 15 looks good. On the top it needs some space. So we'll do 15 just to keep it even. The background, let's change it to the black. Right, we're almost there. And let's make these a little bit bigger because it's going to be on a mobile device. And all the nav links get a bottom border. Make it very light. Right about there. That looks about right. And awesome, we got our mobile nav bar. Just like that. Sweet. Alright, moving on. Let's go to the next breakpoint, shall we? We're going to go to mobile landscape. Everything looks fine so far. Looking good, looking good. Looking good. Alright, so this one is... Should it be 2-column or can it be 1 column and 2 rows? Well, at Flexbox, you can do 1 column, 2 rows. So I'm going to go to the HP row 5. And this one has the Flexbox. And watch how easy this is. I'm going to click on direction column. And now we have our columns. That's it. Pretty fun. And so this actually has too much this has way too much padding at the top, so let's go ahead and put this like something 50. Let's go even more. How about zero it out? What happens? 25. So 25 there. Let's be consistent. 20. Ooh, nope. 50. That looks good. Let's do the same thing here. So 25 and 50. Nice. Okay, so this one again, it's way too close. So let's go to its parent. HP row 6, and now we want to do direction column. Bam. So simple. So simple. Okay, so same thing with these, okay? So right here we want to do direction of column. Actually, we can actually fit let's do a 2x2. So let's play around with this. So for the sizing, we're going to do 50% and 0, 0. Let's try that again. We go to our Flexbox sizing and do 0, 0. Okay, and it's 50%, and now it's going overflow like this, okay, from left and right. But what we can do is go to the footer. Let's see here. Is it the footer? Oh, footer container where the Flexbox is being set. And I can do a wrap children. And there we go. We have a 2x2. Simple, simple. You know, this footer container, these guys are not playing right. So, again, column. And because these are hitting way too close. Let's go ahead and do we have a, there we go. I'm gonna push the margin a bit. And we are done. That easy. That easy. Let's go ahead and go to the last breakpoint. Alright, now we need to do some work on the hero. Let's see here. And we can drag this guy to see what it's going to look like on multiple devices. Okay, you can see the dots at the bottom. It's telling you what things will look at in those different devices. Alright, so let's go ahead and reset it right there. Cool. This hero, let's click on that. It's being centered that way. What if we can move it, fix the actual, there we go. We want to see the guy. Oh, but the text is inside of it, so we can't mess around with that. Interesting. What if it was a contain? No, that doesn't work either. Interesting. Let's fix this. Let's fix this. Now the text for Oculus Touch is coming in. That's good. We'll set it to 500. Alright, so this guy right here, let's set this to 0. And this guy right here, what can we do? What if we do a column? Looks a bit better, but then again it gets away from that, so that doesn't work. Oh, obvious. Let's make the text smaller. There we go. That'll work. Awesome. And then let's go ahead and add that 30 pixels back to it. Oh, let's make it a little less. How about 20? Awesome. That's working. Okay, right here. Looks like text isn't being centered. Let me go all the way back to desktop and center it so it just pushes all the way down to all the other breakpoints. Nice. That works. That works. Okay, so this paragraph right here is getting too close. Let's fix that. Add some padding on the left and right. Alright. This one right here, same thing. Let's go back to the desktop, center all the text from here on down. That works. Okay, let me go back to mobile landscape. This is way too far from that. So I'm going to zero it out and see how, yeah, a little bit more because the shadow, I want it to be equal from this to the shadow and shadow to the text. Yeah, so we get here, looks even better. Beautiful. Okay, here, you know what? Let's just go 100% now. And there we go. Oh, this one's having an issue, so let's go ahead and see if we can do a column. Nope, column's not going to work. So we're going to have to set this one to be, say, 100%. Or can we do column? Let's see what happens to column again. I see what's going on here. Okay, we're going to have to do some wrapping. So let me go and do that from the top on down. So whenever you're adding new elements, you want to start from the desktop so you can see how it works from the top all the way down. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap some of these things. So we have a footer wrapper, and in here we'll call this footer text, and drag in all of these guys right here. So the text block, the link, great, and then also we're gonna call this social wrapper for all the icons. So bring that in. Nice. All right. Footer text. we need to make sure they're all in one line. How are we going to do that? Let's see here. See if Flexbox can help. Yep, it does. One click and it helps. Alright, so now that we have that settled, let's go to tablet. Looks good. Mobile landscape. Looks good. This one does not look good, but it's okay. We're going to go to the footer wrapper. Set it to column. Great. Almost there. Let's get the social wrapper. Oh, forgot to put that guy in. Oh, nice. So let's get this footer text. Put some space. And we are good. Now I can just publish it and take a look. Not too bad for an hour and something, right? Sweet. Alright, so that's the home page all the way down to responsive. Now let's do some more cleaning up. So right here, we know we're going to reuse this footer multiple times on the website, so we can make a symbol. So I'm going to click on Global Objects panel, click plus, and call this footer. And this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click plus and call it FB footer for Facebook. And lastly, this header, or this nav bar, I'm going to call it nav bar. And there we go. So I can just drag these elements into other pages, and when I have to update or edit one of these, it'll push down the same instances on all the other pages it's on. Cool? Cool. Alright, now that the home page is done, let's move on to a child page. We're going to do the Rift page. So let's go ahead and click on the Pages tab, click on New Page. Let's call this Rift. And create. And here we go. We have a blank page. Now, first thing we want to do is let's go ahead and put in the nav bar. So I'm going to drag the nav bar in. And I notice on the Rift page, the nav bar is different. It's a flip in the colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this nav bar and unlink it. Okay, so I dragged in the symbol, and now I don't need to actually have it connect to all the other pages because this one's different. So I'm going to do that, unlink it. Now, this nav bar does not have a class name, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a class name of navbar. Okay, I want to keep the same styles, navbar, but this is going to be, oops, that's a global class, so let's go ahead and do navbar white. Okay, cool. And so my background is just going to be white. There we go. Now I need to flip a lot of these things, like for example the text right here. So then let's go ahead and start with the actual logo. Okay, we're gonna start with the logo, and we're gonna give this logo a different one. We're gonna call it logo black. I'm gonna flip this around so right there, it's gonna do the background positioning to the bottom. Cool. And so we just move on. So these nav links, we're gonna call it nav link black and switch it up to black. There we go. And on the hover state, it becomes gray. Let's see, can we keep that? Yeah, we can. Nav link black. Okay, I need the hover state should go to gray. There you go. Cool. So now I just need to add that to all these. Nav link black, and so on. And this is the cool thing about combo classes. You don't have to set all the styles from the beginning. Okay, login button black. So again, we're gonna change this up a bit to go black right there. change the style of this to be black. Cool. All right, so that part is already done. Let's go ahead and move on to the hero row. So let's click on section. So instead of dragging it, I could just click on it since it's the next element after navbar. So I just clicked on it and I move on. Let's see here. What are we gonna put? We're gonna put another sort of a nav, and let's see here. We're just gonna do the rift, but let's go ahead and put those 3 elements in. So I'm gonna drag in a div block inside, and let's call this a sub rift subnav. Okay, this is going to, let's see here. Let's make this div block. Let's see here. What am I going to do? Let's say a max of 550 and center it, because I want to do that thin line at the top, you know, by doing a border top and then giving it a very thin line and very subtle, something like that. Cool. And then inside of that we need text links, so let's get that text link in here. And you know what, let's play with Flexbox again and center it. Easy. Love it. Alright, so we're gonna call this subnav link, and let's go ahead and give it some padding all around. Say 25 is good. And at the bottom, well, no underline, and it needs to be black. Sweet. So this one will be rift. And actually, let's make this smaller a bit. It's going to have an underline. It's going to be 2 pixels right there. There. Let me see how it looks. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's make this type a little bit thicker. There we go. Bring it up a bit. Say 16. Nah, 14 was good. And let's give it some margins. Say 20. I think is good. So that way when I paste and paste. Awesome. Touch. Oculus ready PCs. Sweetness, we're almost there. Okay, so only on the current state is when this is going to be black. So the actual real state of this is going to be border transparent, and the color of the text is going to be gray. And now how do I get the current page state on the link? So what I can do is I can click on this, go to the settings panel, click on the pages icon, I'm going to choose Rift. And now when I go back to my styles panel, check this out, there's a current right there. So now everything I'm doing here is only for the current page. So I'm going to change it up. There you go, change it up. Add my border bottom color, and there you go. And same thing with this rift will also go to this page, and I want it to have a different style. So now I have that current selector. So this one is going to be grayed out a bit, and there we go. Awesome. And there we go. All right, and now we're going to go ahead and put that cool photo and the large text inside. So let's go ahead and put in a new section here. And didn't give this a class name, that's fine. And this one we're gonna call this is the hero row right here. Okay, oh, so we already have a hero right here. We're gonna call this child hero then. So let's remove and call this child, or actually rift hero. Cool. And now there's some padding at the top to get away from the subnav. do something like 75. Cool. And let's center that. We're gonna center everything. Let's go ahead and put in our H1, which is Rift. Oh wait, no, that's an image. Ah, that's what I forgot to do. Okay, so I need to drag in all of my assets for this page. So let me do that real quick. So I have a bunch of images. I can just drop it in, wait for it to upload. And there we go. Cool, so let me delete that H1. I have the Rift hero. Drag that in. Boom, Rift. And this Rift logo. Give it some space below, probably like 35. And then add in probably like an H2. And say next generation virtual reality. Okay, H2, let's see. Awesome. Rift H2, make that a little bit smaller. Type hierarchy, it's a thing, it's important. Cool. And let's put some space at the bottom, more than 20, we'll go 40. We'll put a button, we'll call this blue button. Order now. Let's get the color of the button real quick from the official site. Huh, okay, we'll just leave it that blue then. And let's add some padding. A little bit more padding, say 40. Keep it to 15. Nope, 10's good. And let's make it rounded. Boom, order now. Sweet. Okay, after this blue button, we need an image. So let's go ahead and get this guy. Just drag him in here. Boom. Fits perfectly. Alright. Let's go Keanu. No, like whoa. We'll just put whoa. That's the name of the image, whoa. Push it down a bit. Say 70. No, 70 is too much. Let's go 40. That looks pretty good. And go whoa. So here's what we got so far. Whoa. Alright, moving on. Let's go to the next section, which is going to be black. So let's go ahead and drag that in. Step into Rift. I'm just going to name that section Step into Rift. Give it some padding at the top. We'll say, let's go 100. And let's give a background of black. And now we need to add in some text. I'm thinking everything's centered here too. So let's go ahead and center the text. Let's do a H3. And we'll call it Step into the Rift. H3. Boom, Step into the Rift. And let's go ahead and add a paragraph. Gray P. Looks like I need to wrap this because I don't want, well, let's see here. Max 550. And what I mean by that is the max width is 550 because I don't want it to go all the way to the sides. Let's go ahead and put that in. Sweet. And now let's go ahead and put in that awesome imagery. Right there. Oh, sweet. It looks good. Oh, wait. This background color is not matching that one. So what I can do is take my, nope, I can take my eyedropper, click it, and there we go. Now it blends. Does it blend? Yes, it does. Gray H3. Let's make this a little bit gray too. There you go. Sweet. This one, I don't think 550 will do it. Yeah, let's go 600. Rename this to 600. Cool. And I think that row is done, unless this is a background image. Oh yeah, it's a background image. My bad. Let me remove this. Set this as a background image. Because the text is supposed to go inside of the... Yeah, inside of the a headset. Hence, stepping into the Rift. So let's make this like 650. See what happens. There we go. It's feeling much better. I like it. Okay. What else? What else is there? Okay, now we're doing a simple row where it says seeing is believing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to drag in a new section. Seeing is believing. Just call it that. Give it a padding on both sides of like say 75. Center the text. And we're just going to do the same thing. Let me just copy this guy. Paste it in. Copy. Paste. Done. Seeing is believing. Cool. This one doesn't need to be gray, so I can remove. Oh, but it needs to be black. There you go. Sweet. And now I can go ahead and do the next part. So the next part has some sort of overlay, unless it's a background image. I think it's a background image, so let's go ahead and play with this. So I'm gonna get a background image. This guy right here. Cover, I'm thinking. Or does it contain? Words just, no, it's not like that. It has to be contain. Or, I mean, it has to be cover. Push it up a bit. And now we give it a height of, let's see, say 350. This is not working out. Maybe it's higher. Whoops. 650? Almost there. But then the tree is like starting to do weird stuff. Let's remove that real quick. Oh, 1,000? It doesn't seem right. Maybe it's the cover. Always gotta play around with it. Always gotta play around. Maybe it's the size. Yeah, maybe I have to actually set the size. But if I do that, then I have edges on the sides. That doesn't make sense. How did they do this? Let's see here. Maybe it's its own row. Let's try that. So I'm going to remove that. Remove this. Put back the 75 and start a new row. And see if I can do something with it. Oops, not a div. Not a div. A section. Okay. Green grass. I'm just gonna call it green grass for now. And let's go ahead and play. Is it just an inline image? Could be. And this inline image, it's a PNG, so I can probably, let's see. What happens if I do this? That's what I thought. So seeing is believing is actually hovering on top. How can I do this? Let's try doing position in z-index 1 and then this one. Let's see what happens if I go like this. Oh, I got it. There we go. So let's remove that. And this guy will have none of that happening. And then this guy right here would probably need to move up. Probably just a little bit using position relative. And then with this right here, I can go ahead and push the margin down. and we go on to the next row. That was a fun little challenge. Okay, so next row is gonna have an image, two images and text in the middle. So let's see, how do we do this? Drag in a section and let's get to it. We're gonna call it magic. And I'm thinking this magic right here, we're gonna have to do, absolute positioning here. So let's go ahead and position relative. And then let's go ahead and drag in this dude over here. Cool. And we're gonna call him the dude. We're just gonna leave him there for now. Leave him there. And so inside the magic we also have let's go ahead and make it flex because I want the text content to be centered. And so let's go ahead and put some content inside. Let's put a div block inside. And this magic should be, say, let's start out with 1,000 pixels. Alright. Now inside here we have like an H3. I'm gonna say the magic presence. H3, black H3. Oh, this guy needs to go behind. So the magic of Z-index, magic of presence. Let's go ahead and add a paragraph. Gray P, max 600. Center this text. Boom. Copy pasta. Nice. And now we're going to put the other guy. Let's go ahead and drag in the sensor. Cool. We're going to call this sensor. Position absolute. Bottom right. Z-index under. Nice. And I think this guy right here, magic text. I think the max should be like 350 or something. Yep, a little bit higher. There we go. Something like that. So if I... Interesting. So this guy shouldn't be... The dude needs to hit the bottom right as well. So let's go ahead and... Or bottom left. So there we go. So we're going to look like this. But now we have so much space at the top. So here we go. We're going to fix that real quick. This guy does not need a bottom margin of 75. And the magic seems like nothing's at the top. So probably my height is too big. So let's go down a bit. Right there. And this one, I don't want to use exact pixels, so let's go 75%. Let's go right there. Let's say 40%. Cool. I feel like it's always going to hit his beard, but we'll see. Okay. Alright, next one. We have a background image in a light box. Really simple. We've done this before. So let's go ahead and drag in a section, and we're going to call this Eve Video. Okay, and this is probably going to be like 650 high with a background image. Where are you? Right there. And cover tile, yada yada yada. Okay, now we need to do this guy right here, set the flex box, and let's just copy and paste from the other page. You know, let's not try to reinvent anything. We've already done it many times, so we're going to copy this. Okay. Go to Rift and paste. Sweet. Go here. Copy this. Go back and paste. Go here, go back, and then copy paste the play button. Alright. Where are you? There you go. Cool. But for this one, I need a different YouTube URL. So I'm going to go here, go to my lightbox setting, delete that, and paste the new one. And the text is Eve Valkyrie. Eve Valkyrie. And so I can't really see the text, so do our little trick right here with the multiple backgrounds, add an overlay, and right about there. Sweet. And now we can just do a rinse and repeat. Okay, and we're gonna call this Lucky's Tail. And this one is included all Rift purchases. And for Lucky's Tail, I need to change the URL. So just go here, remove it, add a new one, save. That one's done. But this one is not Eve Video. So let me remove and call it Lucky's Video. So Flexbox, column, center. What was it, 650? And then my background is going to be Lucky's Tail. Center, no repeat. Also, the background should be 47. Cool beans. That is that. Sweet. Let's move down, and now we have a new one called Advanced and Refined Design. So let's go ahead and do that. Design. We're gonna call this section Design. And let's see here. It's gonna be Flex Center. Actually, no. It's starts at the top, but it's horizontally centered. Cool. So what I can do is let's go ahead and I'm guessing it's a background image. So let's add that right now. It's that guy right there. Guessing it's anchored at the bottom. Let's see how high I gotta go. Let's start with 1,000. Yeah, I think 1,000 is the number. Alright, cool. If 1,000 is the number. And let's go ahead and add some content in it. So I think there's a 75 padding at the top. Let's go ahead and let's get the gray right here. So this is the same thing as this row right here. A lot of rinse and repeating here. So I'm just copying and pasting. Cool. Cool. And that one's done. Let's center that. Boom. That one's done. That was easy. Alright, the next one's gonna be cool. It's again Flexbox, but we're doing a, let me fix this real quick. Yeah, it feels better. 100. So this one is a 2x2 grid. So let's get to it. Let's add a new section. We're gonna call this accessories. Okay, and in this accessories, we're gonna wrap the children. And do we have the images for each? Yep, these 4 right here. We got them. So let's go ahead and make some columns. So we're gonna call this ACC for accessory grid. Okay. And this is going to go 0, 0, 50, 50% width, paste, and now I have 2x2. So this one, the background image is going to be remote. So let's go ahead and set that remote. Okay, and it seems like they all need some sort of height, so let's give it a height of, say, 250. Start there. Nope. 300. Let's go even higher. 400. Nice. Headphones. Right there. Let's go here and add the sensor. I spelled sensor wrong. Let's remove that. ACC sensor, and the reason why I call it that is because I've already used sensor, so I don't want to use the same names. Right there you go. And lastly, it's controller and assets controller. There we go. Nice. And then they all have some sort of call out. Okay. And I'm not going to do the modal on this one, but let me see if I can do the call out. So what I mean is there's a little call to action on the bottom right. So let's go ahead and go to the parent and make this. How can we do this? How we can do this? We can do bottom right by using flex. So let's try that. Flex and to the right and then to the bottom. And there we go. And so if I add something, let's go ahead and add this guy right here. A link block? I think so. So here we go. We have a link block that's on the bottom right. And we're going to call it circle button. And let's see here. This is really tiny, so we're going to go 25 by 25. And the margins, let's go ahead and 25 again. I think that's good. And let's get a border radius of 2. Oh, no, sorry. 50%, but the actual border is solid to white. And actually inside there's a piece of text, so it can be a plus sign. So let's go ahead and actually let's make this flex as well, so it can be center. No, there we go, no underline. Make this white. Make this a little bit bold. And awesome. Can we make this? Nope. Just leave it at that. Cool. And so this one is, if I hover over it, the circle spins 90, I'm guessing 90 degrees? Probably. Let's try that. So, let's see. We need a timer on this for a transform. Okay, so my CSS transform, and when I hover over this, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And there we go. Let's take a look. This is my preview. And there we go. Cool. So now I can just copy paste this whole thing in each of these grids, grid items. And there we go. Cool. And then there's some piece of text that comes out of it. How would I do this? This is interesting. I might have to go back to that, but let's just keep going with the rest of the page because we're almost done. All right, moving on to the next row. Let's go ahead. So we have the accessories done, and let's go ahead and add a new section. And this is we're just gonna call it raise your game. Okay, and this one seems to be 650 height, and we're gonna use flexbox so we can again put everything in the center vertically and horizontally. This one has a background image of that. Set it to cover, center it, and yeah. Okay, cool. Now let's go ahead and start putting in the content. I'm thinking this is H3. H3. There we go. Raise your game with Oculus Touch. Or should it be a H4? Nope. There you go. H3. And next, some copy. There we go. And we're going to call it P. White text. There we go. And then a button. Cool. Learn more. That one was simple. Yeah, let's keep moving on. So the next one after that is a, let's see, connect with the Oculus community. So just like I did before, start a new section, and we're going to call this Oculus community. And this one has a background image, so I'm not going to set, well, let's just see here. Let's see. Height 650. Let's try that. And I'm not sure if this, I'm going to check the background. See what it looks like. Okay, so all the text, okay. All the text is already in the background. Except for the top where it says connect with the Oculus community. So what I'm going to do is flexbox it up. Yeah, it's centering it, but aligned to the top. And let's go ahead and set that as a column. So center and align to the top. And also let's have some padding. Let's push it down a bit, say 50. And the heading will be right there, and it'll be a H3. Give it a class of H3 as well. Put some paragraph copy in there. White text. This should be smaller, so I'm probably gonna wrap this with a div. So I'm gonna drag both elements inside of that div. And let's go ahead and in the Oculus community, let's go ahead and set that to text center. But the only reason why I did a wrapper is because I want to set a max width of, say, 500. So let's just say wrapper 500. Okay, so a max width of 500. Yeah, 500, 550. Play around with it. Yeah, 550. Let me rename this to 550. Done and done. Seems still too close to the top, but let's see here. What if I add more height to it? Say 800. Alright, that's giving more room. Let's keep it going. Maybe not 800. Maybe let's go 900. That feels better. Alright, cool. And we're done with this one. Simple, simple. So, as you can see, I'm just doing a lot of the same thing over and over. So let's just go ahead and skip to the next page. And actually skip to the responsive part of this. And before I do that, let's go ahead and put the footer. Okay. There we go. And so this is, again, this is just a symbol, and whatever changes I make on this, it'll happen on the home page as well. So it's kind of like a, if you're familiar with coding PHP, it's like a include. Okay. And also the Facebook footer. And there we go. Now we're off to make it responsive. Now, the best part about Flexbox, in my opinion, is that if you set it up correctly on the desktop and then start making everything responsive for the other 3 media queries, things should scale down easily. Okay, so if I go down here, all right, cool, everything's still fine here, everything's still fine here, nothing too bad. Up right here, what is that box? Oh, it's the 2 images hitting each other. Interesting. Let's go ahead and fix this. So we have the dude and the sensor. So I'm guessing that both of these should be smaller. So let's go ahead and make the max smaller. Nope, that's not working. Let's try 50%. Actually, let's set it to an actual pixel size. Seems about right, something like that. So we have the dude there, and the sensor. Let's go ahead and make that 250 as well. 350. Now the dude is too big. And then now the whole top is huge. Okay, let's go ahead and fix this. Mm-hmm. 600. I like round numbers. Cool. But this guy, I think it has a... Someone has a padding or something. Magic text. No? Oh, it's because this is center center. If I go like this, put some padding. That seems about much better. Make this smaller. Alright. And with this tab right here, I can see how it works responsively. And we're good. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so we have this. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This one, background image doesn't really explain the product. So what if I move the position a bit? I think right there. All right. Now I'm thinking about the home page. I mean the desktop version. Maybe this should also be, yeah. So since I set it here, it's going to cascade down. So I can remove that style from here. So what I'm going to do is going to go here and then remove the position. And so it's still there, but it's still there because it's getting pulled from the desktop media query. Okay, moving on. I feel like this is, the margins are gonna touch. So let's go ahead and make sure that doesn't happen. Let's see here. What's happening here? Does this have any margins? No. I mean paddings. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way up and double check my padding because I know my copy is going to hit the sides if it gets smaller and smaller. So let's go ahead and just do that now from this. So I'm going to set the sides 20. Let's see here. Seeing is believing. Okay. Let's set it to 20 on both sides for the padding. That one I think is fine. That one's fine. That one's fine. This one might hit the side, so let's go ahead and give it 20. And this one as well, give it 20. Okay. Interesting. There we go. And here we're going to give it 20 as well. So what I'm doing is I'm preparing for the future, so to speak. You know, I'm preparing myself for when I get to the mobile landscape that it's already going to not hit the sides. Okay. All right. Everything looks good so far. Scroll all the way back up. One thing that's missing is this menu button. It's very faint, but there is an icon. And let's go ahead and change that color to... There we go. And when this opens, what's it gonna look like? Okay. Looks like these guys are too dark. So we need to fix it up a bit. Change them to... There you go. And let's make it a little bit less because we're not on those pages. So there we go. The opacity is now down to 60. And now we have our tablet version done. Sweet. All right, moving on to mobile landscape. Looking good, looking good. No one's hitting the sides. All right, the dude could be smaller. So let's go ahead and make the dude smaller. Right there. Let's go ahead and make the sensor smaller. Nice. And this magic of presence. What's making the width? Max width 40%. Let's make this bigger so the copy can go up. Say 80%. How about 100%? But it has padding of 20, just like the other rows. Like that. I think that'll work. Yeah. Cool. And let's go ahead and make the height a little bit bigger, just so the dude and the sensor don't hit the copy. Okay, moving on. That looks good. That looks good. Still good. All right, so here we go. We have our 2x2 grid. Now, if we're on mobile landscape, I think it'll be okay, because you still can understand what's going on. So I'm going to leave it as is. Moving on to the next one. Good there, good there. All right. Last one is the mobile portrait. Always the hardest one. So this one is still fine. This is good. Now let's add 20 just in case. There we go. All right. Cool. And moving down, looks good, looks good. Okay, they're hitting each other again. Gotta fix the sensor and the dude. The dude. There we go, cool. And then, oh, this one might hit, so let's go ahead and add a 20 to this. Center it. There we go. This one's fine. Okay, so here, these are way too skinny. And thanks to Flexbox, we can easily control that by going to, here we go. So a little trick here is I can remove that, so I can go to the parent selector. So remove the combo class, and let's set this to 100%, and then add back in the remote combo class. There we go. Doesn't look like that photo is center. Interesting. Because I set it to center. Alright, moving on. Okay. Looking good. Alright, so these H3s are kind of way too big. Let's go ahead and fix that right here. Bring it down to, say, 36 and 42. And then these paragraphs right there. Nice. And there we go. Those first 2 pages. Nice. Alright, now that this page is done, let's move on to the third and last page. We're going to make a dynamic page for somewhat of a store, I think. So let's go ahead and create our first collection, okay? And let's look at what, based on Oculus's site, they have a couple of things going on. For this collection, we'll call it software, okay? Or software or games? Let's put it games. Actually, products. Okay, products. And the slug will be called products. And each product has a name and a, let's see here, they have a description. So I think the description is just basic plain text. So I'm going to call it description. And it'll be multiple line. Okay, and the next one, let's go ahead and give it a price. So we're going to put a number down and go call it, give this a name of price. And let's go ahead and add a switch. Okay, and is this going to be in featured area number 1? Actually, let's make it a question. Will this be placed? Actually, make it a help text. Yeah. And this help text is good for your clients or the content editors who will be using this in the future. So you want to give them some help when adding in database items or dynamic collection items. For example, will this product be placed in the number 1 spot? Cool. And then we can go ahead, let's see here, add another switch and do the same thing, featured area number 2 and featured area number 3. So this is all going to be items that'll go into the hero row, okay, the featured area. Now this is done. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it needs this image, obviously. Cover art. I think that's done. So then also on the page, there's going to do 3. Yeah, we're going to do 3 categories. Actually, 3 categories and then a 2 category. So here's what I mean. Go back to products and we're going to add another field, and this is going to be an option. So the option is it either going to be in Gear VR or Rift. So Gear VR or Rift. So that way, if I'm on the Gear VR tab, it'll only show Gear VR stuff. If I'm on the Rift tab, it'll only show the Rift stuff. And then save, and there we go. Save collection. Now let's go ahead and create a new collection. Call this subcategories. Subcategories, and this will just be a name. Actually, let me see if I can bypass this. Hold on. I'm just checking, and nope, I can't bypass it. So we have subcategories here. We have just the name, and then that's it. So let me create that. Subcategories, and create. And then let's go ahead and create the subcategories first. So the first one is going to be new and noteworthy. Create another one called Hall of Fame Hits. And then another one called Great with Gamepad. Cool. And for the Rift side, they have their own. This one is Instant Hits, made by Oculus. And lastly, Touch Titles. You'll see where this comes into play when I start designing them in. Okay? Now that I have that done, let's go ahead and start adding in our products. So the first one, let's see here. I'm just going to go alphabetically. This one is Affected the Manor. Okay. And this one has description right there. Price is $2.99. This will be our first. Oh, must be integer. I can fix this. I just have to go back. Let's just remove that for now. This will be in featured area 1. I'm going to drag in the cover art, and it's a for the gear page. Okay, so I made my first one, but I need to fix that number. So instead of integers, it's decimals. Okay. There we go. 299. Let's have at most. Okay. So it rounded up. So I need to fix that again. Precision. There we go. Alright, that's fixed. Go back to 299. There we go. Next, Casino VR Poker. Where's that one at? I'm looking for it. Okay, so let me just add it in. Casino VR Poker. No description. Let's just keep moving. All the prices, we'll just say it's $2.99. This will be featured in area number 2. This is for gear. And moving on. What's this? Collab. Okay, featured area number 3. Drag in that. Gear VR. And yeah, rinse and repeat. Oh, I noticed that I don't have a connection to the subcategories that I just created. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go back to my settings, add field, and here's where we can play around with relational databases. So I can call this subcategory, and this will connect to the subcategories, save field, save collection, and done. So now I can go ahead and go to my next one. Geo get price. It's not featured in any areas, so I'm just going to skip all that. It's for the gear. And this one we'll just say it's part of new and noteworthy. Okay, create product. Do the same thing for home turf. And let's see here, invasion. And then the last 3 we're going to put into Hall of Fame. So let's go ahead and Land's End. Oop, the price. And Hall of Fame. Create product. New product. Shooter's Alley. For the gear, Hall of Fame, and let's go ahead and the last one, Street View. Gear and Hall of Fame. All right, so now that our data has been added to the database, we're going to start designing with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start a new page. I'm going to call it experiences. Okay, and there we go. So now I can go ahead and let's drag in a nav bar and start going to town. Let's put in a section, and we're going to call this, oh, okay, what, actually this next part can be actually copied from here because it's the same type of nav bar. So I'm going to remove that, place it in, and instead of calling this a Rift subnav, we're going to rename it subnav because it's used in different areas. So I'm going to call this gear VR and Rift. Delete that. This one actually links to this page. So let's go experiences, This one will link nowhere. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. Called featured products. And let's give some padding on the top and bottom, say 30. Let's see here. What do I want to add? Let's make this flexbox. Okay, that'll work. And so now I have 2 columns. All right, and now let's go ahead and make the columns. Let's drag in the first one, and we'll call this featured call 1. And then we're going to add another div for featured call 2. Featured call 2. This one's going to expand 2. But this one, it should do it should be bigger than the other one. Say by like that. That's good right there. Okay, so I've set up my columns. Oh, I forgot the heading. Let's go ahead and add that right here. And we'll make this H1. It'll be called featured. Oops. Featured. Let's see. Do I have any classes for H1s? So we're going to call it experiences H1. This is going to be, let's say, light. Oh, normal. Yeah, normal's good. No margin top. Say 30 on the bottom. Also, let's add some padding on the sides for this featured row. There we go. All right. Oh, this guy right here should be sizing of 100%. That way, the columns go below it. Oh, nope, that's not working. Let's see here, how do I fix this? Maybe I can move this up, get that out of that. Remove that padding and say this will be 20. Oh, this should be 0. There we go. That one looks good. Let's just move this a bit more. There we go. Alright, so now we can start adding in our dynamic content. Okay, so for featured column 1, we need the one that we said is going to be featured in this area. So how we're going to do that is drag in a dynamic list. And I'm going to pull from the products. And I'm going to leave the layout as is because I only want to pull one of these. Okay, and so how I'm going to do that is I'm going to set a filter where featured area number 1 switch is on. And create, and there we go. We only have one thing showing. Okay, and I'm going to limit this to only show 1. Okay, now that I have that squared away, I can click on my dynamic item and start styling it. So let's go ahead and say we're gonna call this, if they're all using the same thing, we're just gonna call it product. Actually, no, I need to add a link block. So I'm going to drag in a link block here, and it's going to go to its product detail page. This link block is going to be called product card. Width is going to be 100%. And let's see here. How can we do this? Height will be 100% as well. It's going to be position relative because I'm going to, actually no, move that. We do flexbox, and I'm going to put it to the left and bottom. So this is for the price. The price is going to go to the left and to the bottom. And this also will have a background image of the cover art. There we go. And let's go ahead and let's see what we can do. Let's go ahead and make the height actually. Let's make a combo class of feature 1. That way we can set the height to say 250 pixels. No, make it bigger. 350. Looks pretty good. And the background image is going to be cover, center, no repeat. There we go. That looks pretty good. And let's go ahead and add in the price. So I'm going to put text there. Get the text from... Actually, no. We're going to put a dollar symbol. And after that, we're going to put another text block. And this is going to get text from the price. Okay. And I don't want it blue, so I'm going to go back to the product card and change the color to white. No underline. And let's bump up the price a bit. I mean the font size of the price, not the actual price. Alright, let's go back to product card and put some padding. Looks good. And I think that's about it for that part. Okay, so now feature column 2. Let's go ahead and drag in a dynamic list. And this one's going to be be pulling from products and do the same thing, but this time the filter is going to be for featured area 2. Limit to 1. There we go. And let's go ahead and drag in a link block. Do the same thing. Give it a class name of product card. Let's see if this works. Okay. Doesn't seem like that's going to work. Let's see here. I'm going to set this feature column 2 because I want to do a 50% height for these two guys. So what I'm going to do is do a flex column and yeah, set those as such and make this align stretch. Nope, that didn't work. It's the parent of this guy. So notice how product card is down here. So I need to go up to here and say featured item call 2. So I'm giving a class name of that. So that way I can play around with the flex child settings so I can expand it. There we go. So that way if I copy and paste this, now we have a 50% on both. Okay, so feature column 2 right here. This one shouldn't be feature area 2, it should be featured area 3. Save. Awesome. Okay, so now back to where we were, the product card. Okay, so this product card is feature 2, and this is going to get the image from the cover art. And this is supposed to stretch. I think it's I don't think it's stretching, it's because of the parent. Let's see here. What's the parent doing? So this one is stretched, but this one isn't. So it seems like I have to push Flexbox all the way down. How can I do that? So I'm going to go here. Call it Flex. And let's just go ahead and do the same thing. Flex. And because it's a child, I can do that. This one, it's a child, so I can do that. Huh. It's not sizing the way I want. This flex right here. Right here, is this being a child? Because the no flex is set here. There we go. So I have to set flex all the way down. So this one is flexing, this one, and then this one works. Alright, cool. So this feature 2 is flex, and let's go ahead down right, so that's correct. Let's go ahead and drag in a text block here. There we go. $, and the price. There we go. Huh, I thought I set that one up as far as the font. So let's go ahead and do that and that. Cool. Sweet. Alright, so now I just got to do the same thing here. Set flex to everything. So this will be flex. This one is flex. And this one is product card. That's already good. And this is feature 3. Background image, cover art. Let's go ahead and set that background. And drag in my price. There we go. Now you notice that they're too close to each other, so for featured column 2, featured item column 2, let's go ahead and let's see, probably 15, and then inside, let's see here, feature 2, let's go ahead and add a, nope, no, yeah, that'll work. So we're gonna add, say, 10 here, and 10, oh, let's go 5 on each, 5, 5, and then this guy right here could be 10. There we go. The feature row is done. Alright, moving on. Let's go ahead and move on to the next section. This one's going to be a simple 3 column. So here we go. Let's go ahead and what's the first thing I want to do? I'll call it a products row. Give it a 20 on each side. For the padding, I'm going to set this padding to 40. Nice. And let's go ahead and add in a heading. I'm going to do a H2. New and noteworthy. Okay. And we're going to call this do I have H2 already? Oh, nice. I'll use that one. This one's H1, so maybe this should bump up a little bit more since it's featured. Cool. New and noteworthy, and let's see here, that's already done. Let's go ahead and drag in a dynamic list. Cool. Products, and we're going to, let's do a 3 column. There we go. So we have a 3 column, but I only want to pull in things where the subcategory equals new and noteworthy. Okay, let's see how that how those relational or single reference works. Okay, so there we go. Only got 3, and I just do the same thing. Let's go ahead and bring in a bring in a link block. Give it a class name of product card. Okay. And inside the product card, let's go ahead and call it non-featured, or let's call it regular. You know, because it's a regular product. And I misspelled it. Regular. There we go. And that's going to pull background image. And let's go ahead and make the height 250 pixels. There we go. Cute little bunny. Alright. Cover. Okay, it might be too tall. Let's see here. Now make sure that geography quiz fits. There we go. Cool. So 180. And let's go ahead and put the price. So same thing, gonna drop that in there. Price tag. Drop that in there. Price. And there we go. We have it for all three. Cool. Now we just rinse and repeat. I'm going to copy. So I'm going to copy this products row and paste it. Okay. And instead, this was going to be Hall of Fame hits. And so I'm going to click on the dynamic list wrapper. So this one is pulling from subcategory new and noteworthy. I'm going to change that to Hall of Fame hits. Click save. They switch. And I'm already done with this. That's it. So let's go ahead and... Oh, looks like this doesn't have any margin at the bottom. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, this dynamic list wrapper isn't being pushed down. I wonder if it's because I need to do a clear both. There we go. I need to do a clear both. Because there's floating happening here. Alright, now that one's done, so let's go ahead and finish off by adding our two footers. I'm going to add our regular footer and Facebook footer. Alright, so now the desktop is done. Let's go ahead and go to tablet. Looks good, looks good. No complaints. Let's go to mobile landscape. Looks pretty good. Okay, we have some things happening here that we could fix. Let's go ahead and fix those. So here on the product card, regular, could use some margins at the bottom. So we'll put 10. That works. Yep, that'll do it. And then lastly, let's go ahead and mobile portrait. All right, so here, this doesn't work. The first thing that doesn't work is this is too big. This text, let's make it smaller. Same thing with H2. We're going to bump it down to, say, 28, 26, and 34. Okay. And then right here, let's go ahead and go to the feature column 1. Now we had this sizing as this, so I'm going to put it back to 1 and 1, but set the width to 100%. Actually 0, 100%. And same thing with feature column 2. I know it's going off canvas, but I'll show you how to fix this. Okay, so it's 100%. And now for its parent, the featured products, I'm going to wrap children. There we go, pushes it down. Oh, I notice this still has a padding left, so let's remove that. Let's see here. Featured column 2. Let's see here, product card. Yeah, let's remove that. Let's go ahead and let me figure this out. Feature column 2. Remove that so I can access the height and make it 250. That looks good. And also push it away by 10 pixels. This one has too many pixels. Why is that? Where did the 8 come from? Oh, I just made it interesting. There's a 5 at the top. Oh, the 5 at the top because we're messing around with that. And then this guy, product card, has 5 at the bottom, so remove that. Alright, cool. So those are fixed. So what I can do is featured column 1, I can push it down by 10, push the margin bottom down by 10, and then this product card, I can push it down by 10. There we go. Cool. Moving on, no new and noteworthy. Still good, still good. And we've just made a dynamic page. Okay, this is all pulling from our dynamic collection. And let's go one step further and go to the products template. Okay, so we're going to drag in nav bar. And in the products template, we're going to show off the product. Okay, so we're going to drag in this and call it product hero. And so with this purple type of page, we're already pulling in data from the products dynamic collection. So for example, I can look at data coming in from either Street View, GeoGet, and so forth. So let's go ahead and we'll go with invasion. Okay, I'll show you how that looks. So this product hero is going to be, let's make it 450. Okay, that's the hero row. And I'm going to get the background image, and I'm going to set that to cover, centered, no repeat. I'm going to put in another section, and I'm going to give this a class of flex, and then inside of this, actually, let's go ahead and do the same thing we did in the experience page, you know? So it'll be featured column 1, and then another one, featured column 2. All right. Oh, this is, let's see here. I think this flex is doing a column. Yeah. Okay, so what's the class name that I use on experiences? Because I'm trying to recreate this. I want the 2 columns. I did featured products. So let's go back to the products template. And it's not going to be flex, it's going to be featured products. So now I have a nice 2 column. Okay, so let's rename this to flex row. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to call this, rename it flex column 1. And so when I'm renaming the class name here, I'm renaming it everywhere on my whole site. Okay, let's go ahead and drag in the heading. H1 is going to be the name. H1. There we go. And this is going to be no padding. Align left. That way I can remind myself that, hey, align left, I'm aligning it on the left with no padding on the left. Put in a paragraph, and this paragraph of text is coming from the description. So this one doesn't have a description, so let me get some quick lorem ipsum. Okay. Okay, cool. So let me add that in real quick for the for products that don't have any descriptions. Cool. And now it's done. It's there. Cool. All right. So let's go ahead and push this down a bit. That's nice. Okay. And then on this side, we have the price. So I'm just going to put in a, let's go ahead and put in a button. And we're going to call it buy button. And this one is going to have the price. So let's go ahead and right here on the settings, I can get text from products and put the price on it. Actually, let's not go ahead and put a button. Let's redo this. I'm going to put a div block, and then this div block, I'm going to call it buy button. I'm going to push it away right about there. Let's go 50. There you go. And let's go ahead and center it. Center the text. This is going to be black with rounded edges. Say 20. Nope. Yeah, 40. Cool. And then the text inside. I need to make the text white. Okay. Oops. This text is going to be replaced by the price. Oh, I need a price tag too. Okay. Seems like this needs some flexing too. There we go. Let's make this a little bigger. And there we go. So that's very basic. Let's go ahead and end this by putting in our footer and the Facebook footer. And like I said, you can see different views of what your data looks like. So there's that Shooter's Alley. It doesn't look good here, so it's good that we're looking through each one because I have the background centered. How about we do it from the top? Okay. Home turf. There we go. So this is all dynamic. All right. Let's go ahead and check it out in tablet. Looks good. Check it out here. Here we can probably, let's see here, one more. Okay, there we go. Yep, that'll work. So it's already done for me. But I noticed that this is clipping a bit. Let's go ahead and see if we can make this smaller. Say 400 on tablet. And even smaller so we can see the image. 300. And lastly, 180. And there we go. Publish, and I'm done. So yeah, that's a little bit of how Webflow can work during the production part of a workflow. You can go straight from any mockup and reproduce the whole site inside of Webflow and publish it, including creating a database for it. All right, so this has been a redesign for the Oculus Rift website inside of Webflow. Let me know in the description if you want to see another website created inside of Webflow, and I will do my best to record it. All right, see you guys.